G'day, guys. Welcome back to episode number 2 of Life Dilemmas and Dad Stuff. Super excited to be back in the saddle. I actually am, and behind the microphone and going through this whole thing again. I'm really enjoying it. And thank you so much for all your feedback from my first episode back in a while from last week. So glad to see those listening numbers and also getting all your feedback and chatting to you guys on the DMs. And for those of you that have hit me up on the coaching front to start coaching and getting that all going, we're already talking. So I'm happy about that. It's taken not as long as what I thought. In terms of what we're talking about today, we are talking about how we exist in pressure and how pressure changes people. And over the last little bit of time, especially since I've had a baby 2 years ago, I feel like there's certain areas of my life where pressure has just built and built and built and built. And you sort of shove it under the carpet. You're like, nah, you know what, I'll deal with that later. And it just keeps building. The pressure never goes away. And what I've found in myself is that pressure, it either allows you to step into the person that you've always wanted to be. Pressure either allows you to step into your true power, or you totally disconnect from yourself altogether and you just put the, head in the sand and you are just like, nah, I'm not going to deal with this. And when you put your head in the sand, especially when you're under pressure in a certain area of your life, one thing that is guaranteed is that pressure is just going to build and build and build. So you can't hide from those little things. You know, those little things where you're like, things happen in your life and you have this moment where, what was going on there? I feel like something was going on there that I need to deal with. And then my natural way of dealing with those things is, nah, I'll shove it under the carpet and not listen to my true intuition, my true north, and I'll shove it under the carpet. And then it comes up again a little bit more. And I'm like, yeah, I remember this from last time, but nah, it's not big enough to deal with yet. And it just keeps coming up, You know what I mean? Otherwise you wouldn't be still listening. It just keeps coming up and the pressure builds. It's like a pressure cooker. It just builds and builds and builds. And then it gets to a certain point where there is too much going on and something has to give. And in that moment where something has to give, you have to, and I had to, step up to the plate and step into your power. And ultimately what happens is, and look, there's so many different types of pressures. There is financial pressure. There's a relationship there's financial pressure. There is relationship pressure. There's pressure around being a dad or being a father or being a mother. There's pressures around just everyday life, health, all that type of stuff. And when we look at all these different areas in our life in terms of pressure, one thing that's for sure is that it's all exactly the same feeling. It just gets too much. And you start wishing for things to happen where, for example, let's say if it's financial pressure, you're like, how fucking good would it be? How fucking good it would, coulda, woulda. How good would it be if I won Tats Lotto? Or how good would it be if I just got this influx of money and it'd totally save me? But my experience is that even if that happens, if you don't learn the lesson, you will still have to deal with it. So you have to learn the lesson. No one's going to save you. You have to learn the lesson because there's not going to be someone that knocks on your door and goes, here's your answer, buddy. Thank you so much for feeling that little bit of pressure, but here's your answer. There you go. Off you go. Live your beautiful life. It's just never, ever going to happen. Well, It may for you, but it's definitely never happened for me. So, in terms of what I've done in my own life, where I feel like I've shoved that thing under the carpet one too many times, I lift up the carpet, lift up the rug, I look underneath and I go, what is it that I have to deal with here? And I've recently been in a situation where I've had to deal with a lot of stuff. The pressure cooker got too much, and that whole fucking beep, it came up. It happened. That moment happened for me 1 or 2 months ago, and I literally had two choices: either step into my power or be a fucking victim. And when and you know what? The crazy thing is it's just as easy to step into being a victim as it is to step into being a power. So if I had a choice, and sorry, my bad, my choice was in that moment to step into my power. And when you step into your power, a few things happen. One of them is have to, one of the key things that happen when you step into your power is uncertainty, which I mentioned a little bit about last week. And as soon as you step into your power, you you're almost going through this little forest, but you don't know which way the path is going. And you're just walking through the forest and you're like, I don't even know if I'm going the right way. Is this going to come out the right way? Am I ever going to get out of this forest? And the answer is yes, you will. But you can't get out of the forest without taking steps forward. And what you would do is when you're taking steps forward, you take steps forward following your true north. And once you've lifted up the rug and you've taken all that shit out and the pressure's gone, the hard work is done. The next part is you just have to trust. And as you move forward, what will start happening is that you will get zero feedback in terms of whether you're going in the right direction. For the first few little weeks, months, it might be, you'll start to move forward. You'll start to go into your belief. It's like, oh my God, but the external world will not give you any type of feedback that you're going in the right direction. You might get a few little things that are like, it's just like, but it's not enough to show you that you're going in the right direction. So it's a really interesting game. And I do look at this like a game because I mean, there's nothing to really lose, is there? If you royally mess this whole thing up and you're going in the wrong direction, who cares? You realize you messed up and you go in a different direction, but at least you're moving. So in the times of when pressure comes up and it's immense, it's intense and pressure's there and you're like, oh my God, how am I going to get out of this? It's not easy, but you have to it's just not easy, but there is a way to do it, and that way is, first off, we get super honest about our own involvement in the situation. We don't go into the blame game. We don't go into, well, if it was just like this, or if only this person acted in this way, or if only I didn't, I don't know, whatever the fuck your excuse is, it's bullshit. And when and by the way, guys, I'm talking about myself just as much as so I'm just basically sharing my own knowledge here. I'm sharing my own wisdom. Have I worked it out perfectly? Absolutely not. Do I feel like I'm going in the right direction? I'm following my nose and I'm taking steps and I'm moving in the right direction. And if it's not the right direction, I'll be shown the right course, but I'm moving forward and it's clunky. Am I getting feedback just now after a couple of months, even though I've only done 2 episodes, but I've stepped into my power a good few months ago. I reattached my, well, I'm a dude, so I can say this, but I reattached my balls, put my dick back on, and I went, right, let's fucking go. Like, no more of this bullshit. And I stopped being a victim to outside influence, to external influence, and I took power and I'm moving forward. And does it feel good? It does, because just now I'm getting enough feedback. I'm getting enough feedback now from the external world to show me that I'm going the right direction? Is it still clunky? Yes. Is it still hard? Yes. But what would I rather? I would much rather move forward and go towards something which is, I feel, building inside me, going towards my purpose, going towards what I really want. And I'm doing it and it feels epic. So when you're feeling any type of pressure in your life, or when you're feeling what I just want to, I took a couple of notes here, so I just want to make sure that yeah, I mean, I've basically covered some. Yeah, and look, all right, yeah, that's the other thing. I sort of mentioned it before, but the only other thing that I was I wanted to talk about is that when there is pressure changes people in really dynamic ways. So when someone is under pressure, they can become incredibly frustrated. They can become angry. Their moods will change. The way they behave with you or with others, everything starts to change because there is pressure. And the pressure usually comes when, as I said earlier, you have you have stopped listening to the feedback of what's actually going on in your life. So when this happens, if you take a seat back and you have the courage to take a look at the scope of your whole entire life, and you see areas in your life where everything's rolling really nicely, it's going really, really well, and you look at these areas and it's like, oh, the way that I went towards these things is the areas that are going really easy and smoothly or in flow. It's almost like a no-brainer because you know what to do. If you look at the scope of your life and you see the areas or the one main area where you're feeling immense amount of pressure, you will know why that is, because if you do some reflection and you get truly honest with yourself, you will know exactly how you created that dynamic. And if you go back over the last few months or the last year or 2 years or 5 years, you will see exactly what your involvement is to create this and allow this to occur in your life. So moving forward, there's never a right time to put, to draw. There is never a right time to draw a line in the sand and keep moving and start to listen, start to reflect and understand what's actually going on. The only time is now, because there is no other time. There is only the now. So if you're in a place where you're feeling that pressure build, why wouldn't you start to deal with it now? Why are you leaving things under the rug that have been unturned? You have to turn them around. You've got to be incredibly courageous, incredibly brave, and look at things like a game. Look at these moments, look at these experiences in your life, look at it like a game, because it is. And if you start to look at things like a game, it actually becomes fun because you stop putting pressure that it has to be like this or it has to be like that. As soon as you put that it has to be this, it's, you don't even know, you're not allowing the magic to occur in itself, because the unknown is magical. The unknown is the opportunity to experience something that you've never experienced before. And when pressure builds, it's exactly how diamonds are made. When pressure builds, the process of alchemy, it is pressure builds, and diamonds are created from so much pressure that they can't actually exist, and then diamond is created. So this is what it's all about. When I don't want to keep saying the same shit over and over again in different words, but what I urge you to do is to have the courage and have the have the bravity, if that's a word, to move forward and realize in your life where pressure is building. If you haven't already reached the point where it's popped, and take appropriate action. In terms of taking appropriate action, the first step is just the first step is to uh, take a seat back, take a seat, maybe a notepad, a journal, and do some reflection. Where has been your involvement in allowing this dynamic to occur? Once you've got that, find a way forward and know that the way forward is incredibly clunky. There is no right path, there's no wrong path. You just have to start moving. And I'm telling you now, from a person that is starting to move, I'm starting to get some really cool feedback, and I'm really enjoying this little game that I'm playing with life. In terms of, if you're experiencing any of this stuff and you want some help moving through it, I'd love to be there for you as a sounding board, as someone that can guide you through. If you're interested in the coaching aspect of what I offer, please hit me up on the DMs. I'd love to chat to you and talk to you, and anything other than that. Even if you just got some questions about this episode, by all means, hit me up. Otherwise, guys, lots of love. Episode 2 done, and I think you are incredibly special. So enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, if you feel like you need to listen to this podcast again, or send it to someone that you know is in need to hear this and have a little punch in the backside to get them going, feel free to share the podcast. Lots of love, guys. I will catch you at episode 3.